Hello everybody and welcome to Book Review Mondays. Today I am going to talk about the Selection series. I've already done a video on just the first book in the series, The Selection, but now I'm going to talk about the series as a whole and whether I'm actually pleased or not that I read it. Alright, for those of you who have yet to read it or have read it, so the series is kind of split up into two series. We have the first three books, which are The Selection, The Elite, and The One. They reside in the point of view of America Singer. She is living in America post-World War IV, where it has been taken over by a monarchy and has been renamed Ilia. And there is a caste system of 8 different districts. Number 1 being the royal family, and so on until 8 is being primarily the homeless population. America is a number 5, which means she is a part of the musicians and artist type caste, which means she's trained her entire life to play the piano, violin, and sing. And when Prince Maxim, who is heir to the throne, is of age to be married, the royal family hosts a selection, which means that any eligible woman in between the ages of 16 and 22 can get their name drawn in to win a chance to marry the prince. Now, Ilia is in a sort of place of upheaval. It is a fairly well-written dystopian setting. The next 2 books in this series, which is called The Heir and The Crown, take place in America's daughter's point of view as they go through another round of the selection. Now, this book series is very predictable. The titles in the books pretty much give away everything that is going to happen. I basically, with the first 3 books, I had everything figured out. Now, Kiera Cass does try to confuse the reader with different types of plots that she introduces, but for the most part I knew exactly what was going to happen, and even the order it was going to happen. It was fairly easy to predict every single thing, especially with all the plots introduced to make this very interesting and really grabs the reader, because it is very much like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette that you can watch on reality TV. There's eliminations, there's dates, there's all these rules that can get away with being selected. It is a very interesting book. I was definitely grabbed by all of the drama and everything, even though I knew what was going to happen, exactly how it was going to happen. The drama was still super awesome to read about. And I do have to say that getting into The Heir, which is the 4th book, I completely hated America's daughter. I thought she was a stuck-up snob. I just really didn't like her. I didn't really like the story. I honestly wasn't going to continue on with the last book, The Crown, until the end of that book happened, and I decided, why not? I'll read it. And I'm really glad that I did, because in The Crown, America's daughter, and I still don't know how to say her name, I think it's Edelyn. She grows so much in the book that I actually ended The Crown in a much more happy, put together type of a way. And I was actually pleased that even though it is very predictable, still, like the first 3 books, it wasn't as predictable. I was actually taken by surprise with who gets picked in the selection. By the end of the book, I was very happy, and I will say that I'm very glad I read this series. I love the drama, I loved the progression and the development of all of the characters involved in the series. And so even though I probably should have read it in high school because I would have appreciated the book series so much more, I'm still really pleased and really glad that I read the series. And even though The Heir wasn't my favorite, ranking the very least in my ratings by about a 2.5, the rest of the series ranked very highly, in between a 3.5 and a 4-star rating. I give the series as a whole a 3.5 out of 5, and it is definitely a really great story to just bundle up on the couch and just binge read. And I'm not the type of person who reads novellas, so I probably won't pick up like Happily Ever After or any of the other novella series, but I am still, again, very glad I read this series, and I want to really talk to people about the series. So maybe comment down below whether you've read it and how you feel about the series. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!